The mind is not your friend. The mind is not your friend. What is the mind? The mind is a thinking process. There are several thinking processes. It's a sorting process. It's an ordering process. It's a separation process. It's an analysis process. So everything the mind touches gets immediately warped and distorted and perverted because it gets oversimplified. This is the only way the mind can function, by oversimplifying things and by separating things that are not separable. And then it gets categorized and labeled and put into shelves and drawers and all kinds of ordering dynamics, like a huge hall for logistics. Like when you imagine Amazon, with all the stuff that you order, how it's ordered so that it can be quickly found. But you cannot order everything at Amazon. They also select. And this selection is what makes the mind so dangerous. The mind, the thinking mind, the emotional mind, and the sense mind, the three minds, they all do this. And they all sift through everything that's coming in and then decide what's important, what will be noticed, what will be memorized, and so on. So not everything that's going on will be noticed by the three minds. Only what's familiar. So, whatever your worldview is that has been created in early childhood, this is the basic structure on which everything else is based. Anything that comes in, any thought, any information, any emotion, any sensory input for you and through your ears, eyes, nose, and so on, gets compared to what you already know. Yeah, you don't know it, of course, what you already believe, what your worldview is already. And if it fits, it gets used and memorized. And if it doesn't fit, it gets discarded and ignored. And that is why we can see the material world on which we all agree. Because it's the most superficial and easiest way to perceive reality. But there are many, many additional kinds of realities which we cannot see because the mind is not showing them to you. It's like a projector that only shows you some scenes, like a TV that only shows you 1% of the movie. All the scenes that are kind of confusing are deleted. So the mind is not your friend. And unfortunately, in the translations of the Vedas and Upanishads, the mind, the English word mind, is used for so many Sanskrit words that have a different meaning. And for example, Sri Aurobindo calls something the supermind and the overmind, but they have nothing to do with the thinking mind that we usually talk about. The thinking mind is a process that's going on by itself. You don't have to do anything for it. It's self-sufficient and self-serving and self-prolonging. It's like a cat or a snake biting its own tail. It turns around and around and around and around in the same circles, never exploring more than half a square meter or so, like a dog when it turns around trying to find its resting place. It never explores most of reality. It stays in that reality and tries to stay in the kind of experience and in the level of happiness or unhappiness that the system has known in early childhood. So it tries to recreate constantly what you have experienced in early childhood. If you have had a nice early childhood, it's good for you. And if you had a horrible early childhood, it's bad for you because your mind is constantly trying to recreate this. And everything that you think you know is not knowledge, it's just an opinion. And it's perverted and warped by your mutilated childlike mind. Any information that comes in that you think you understand, that you can grasp, that you finally get it, it's already too late. You can throw it away. It's already bastardized. It's already destroyed. Everything the mind touches gets destroyed. And the funny thing is, you don't even need the mind for most things. You need the mind for very few things, like counting your change after shopping. But otherwise, you don't need it. It's really quite a useless tool. There's so many more things that are much more useful, like intuition and direct knowledge. And I repeat, everything that most people call knowledge is bullshit. It's just belief. They don't know it, just believe it. And that's where the mind is not your friend. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing or joining me on Patreon or Facebook, and see you soon.